Long ago, deep in the heart of the African savannah, there lived a terrible lion. Not just any lion, but the fiercest beast the animals had ever known. Every morning, the ground trembled beneath his heavy paws. Birds fled from the trees, monkeys hid in silence, even the mighty elephants avoided his path. The lion hunted without mercy. He killed more animals than he could even eat, simply because he enjoyed the fear in their eyes. Soon, panic spread across the savannah. Families could no longer sleep peacefully. Mothers feared for their children. Rivers became empty because animals were too terrified to come out and drink. One evening, as the red African sun disappeared behind the hills, the animals gathered beneath an ancient baobab tree. "We cannot continue like this," cried an old antelope. "If we do nothing, the lion will destroy us all," said the elephant. After hours of fear and debate, the animals made a dangerous agreement. Each day, one animal would willingly go to the lion as food, so the lion would stop hunting the others. The next morning, they carried the message to the lion's cave. The lion listened carefully. Then a cruel smile spread across his face. "Very well," he growled, "but if my food is ever late, I will kill every animal in this land." And from that day forward, fear ruled the savannah. Days passed. Every sunrise brought fresh sorrow. One by one, animals disappeared into the lion's cave, never to return. The entire savannah lived in sadness. Then, one terrible morning, fate chose the smallest animal of all, the rabbit. When the animals announced the decision, silence filled the air. The rabbit looked tiny beside the others. "How can such a little creature satisfy the lion?" whispered the monkeys. "This is hopeless," muttered the warthog. But the rabbit did not cry. He did not beg. Instead, he quietly twitched his ears and stared into the distance. Deep inside his clever mind, a plan was beginning to form. As the rabbit slowly hopped toward the lion's cave, the hot African sun burned overhead. But unlike the others before him, the rabbit was in no hurry. He stopped beside trees, rested near rocks, and deliberately delayed his journey. By the time he finally approached the lion's territory, the sun was already beginning to fall. Inside the cave, the hungry lion paced furiously. His stomach growled like thunder. His sharp claws tore through the dirt. Then suddenly, the rabbit appeared at the entrance, tiny, alone, and very late. The lion's eyes blazed with rage. "You dare keep me waiting?" The lion roared so loudly that birds exploded from nearby trees. The rabbit trembled slightly, but then bowed respectfully. "My king," he whispered carefully, "I came as fast as I could, but another lion stopped me on the way." The cave fell silent. The lion's face twisted with fury. "Another lion?" he growled. "There is no other lion in my kingdom." The rabbit lowered his head carefully. "Yes, my king," he replied softly. "A huge lion attacked me while I was bringing myself to you." The lion snarled. "How dare he?" The rabbit pretended to shake in fear. "He called you weak," the rabbit continued. "He said this land belongs to him now." The lion roared with anger so violently that dust rained from the cave ceiling. "Take me to this fool immediately!" The rabbit nodded slowly. "As you command, great king." The small rabbit led the massive lion across the savannah, past dry grass, past frightened animals hiding behind rocks, past silent watering holes. The rabbit remained calm, but deep inside, his heart pounded wildly, because one mistake, one tiny mistake, could cost him his life. Finally, they reached an ancient stone well hidden among tall grass. The rabbit stopped beside it. "He is inside there," the rabbit whispered. The lion stormed forward angrily. He peered into the deep well, and suddenly he saw another lion staring back at him. A huge lion with burning eyes and a dark mane. The lion roared furiously into the well, and instantly the other lion roared back. The rabbit stepped backward carefully. The trap was working perfectly. The lion could no longer control his anger. No rival could be allowed to challenge him. No enemy could dare insult the king of the savannah. With a thunderous roar, the lion leaped directly into the well to attack the other lion. But there was no enemy waiting below, only cold, deep water. Splash! The massive lion crashed into the darkness. Water exploded upward. The walls echoed with desperate roaring. The lion clawed wildly against the slippery stone, trying to escape. But the well was too deep, too steep, too impossible to climb. Again and again, the lion tried to jump out. Again and again, he failed. Until finally, the roaring stopped. Silence returned to the savannah. The rabbit carefully peeked into the well. The terrible lion was gone forever. For a moment, the little rabbit simply stood there in disbelief. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his tiny face. The smallest animal in the savannah had defeated the strongest beast of them all. Not with claws, not with strength, but with intelligence. The rabbit turned and raced back across the savannah as fast as his legs could carry him, and everywhere he went, animals stared in shock, because for the very first time in many months, the rabbit was returning alive. The rabbit gathered the animals beneath the great baobab tree once more. This time, not in fear, but in joy. "The lion is gone!" the rabbit shouted proudly. For a second, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then suddenly, the savannah exploded with celebration. Monkeys danced through the trees. Elephants trumpeted loudly into the sky. Birds filled the air like colorful clouds. Even the old tortoise laughed with happiness. The animals lifted the rabbit onto their shoulders and praised his bravery. But the rabbit smiled humbly. "It was not strength that saved us," he said. "It was wisdom." That night, the savannah felt alive again. Families returned to the rivers. Children played freely beneath the moonlight, and peace finally returned to the land. From that day forward, the animals never forgot the lesson of the clever rabbit. No matter how small you are, intelligence can defeat even the greatest power. And somewhere beneath the glowing African stars, the little rabbit smiled quietly, knowing courage and wisdom had changed the future forever. Wisdom is stronger than force, and even the smallest voice can change the world. And so, the mighty lion who ruled with fear was finally defeated by the smallest animal in the savannah. Not through strength, not through violence, but through wisdom, patience, and courage. The clever rabbit reminded every animal that no matter how powerful danger may seem, a smart mind can change everything. And from that day forward, peace returned beneath the glowing African moonlight. The rivers flowed quietly again. The animals laughed freely again, and the story of the clever rabbit was passed from one generation to another, beside warm fires under the stars. Because true power does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the wisest. Thank you for joining us this hour on Moonlight Folktales, where African legends come alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more magical African folktales, wisdom stories, and unforgettable adventures beneath the moonlight. Until the next story, goodbye.